Our next storyteller is from the 2nd Medical Support Squadron. Please welcome Technical Sergeant Mark Brown.
Good morning, everyone. Thank y'all for letting me come and tell my story today. Before I start, I'll tell a little bit about myself. I've got 19 years in. I've had 3 AFSCs. I've been security forces. I've been C-130 engines, and I'm now medical admin. I did 4 tours to the AOR to include UAE, Saudi Arabia, and 2 tours to Iraq. And it's specifically those times in Iraq that bring me here today. My life took a huge turn when I went downrange to Iraq. It changed me fundamentally as who I was, and I saw things, I experienced things there, and I wouldn't change any of that. The fact that I was able to go to Iraq and defend this country and to have a chance to go and hopefully prevent that any of our children would ever have to leave America and go and combat the forces of evil that we were fighting there. And that evil is what I brought home with me. The person that left here on that plane is not the person who came back. I wanted to tell myself that I hadn't changed, but that evil, it took root in my mind. It affected how I thought, how I acted. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't concentrate at work. I couldn't relate to family. I couldn't relate to coworkers. And just trying to be me was something that I couldn't do. The Sergeant Brown that I got on that plane, the person who got on that plane and went to Iraq was not the same person who came back. I left a part of me in the AOR, and the AOR came home with me. The things I saw, the experiences I had, they filled my head. It was like a million BBs just bouncing around and around and around. The images of people hitting the deck when the shells would come in. The sounds of the booms, the booms, the booms. Sorry. The roar of the klaxon going off. The alarm red, the alarm red. It just looped like a bad song inside my head. The images of riding along the perimeter and seeing little kids hanging from the fence, and the person inside you feels sorry for the little kids who are trapped in a situation that has nothing to do with them. But then that other person realizes that that evil that brought you here would not hesitate to make those little kids a bomb to kill you or to kill another American. And then volunteering to go to the clinic and work, and when you walk in, you see heads wrapped like mummies, soaked in blood. You see young men on tables with their knees bandaged, and there's no more legs below those knees. And you hear the screams, and then you see what was once white tile, and it's now red. And you hear the helicopter calls coming in, and little kids like the ones that you saw on the fence are being brought in. And they got life-threatening injuries that came from the shrapnel from what was going on outside that fence. And then you think about sitting in the comm tent, and there's a mom and a dad who are both deployed, and they're trying to have a birthday for the little girls back home, and they're trying to be strong, but one steps in while the other steps out to wipe away the tears before they step back in. And these images just keep swirling and swirling in your head, and you want to tell yourself that you're fine, that everything's okay, that you can be that person that you want to be, that person that you need to be, but you're really not fine, and you know you're not fine. I mean, is it fine that when you simply go to a movie theater, you look inside a trash can before you go inside? Or when you have to sit on the edge of an aisle just so you can get away? Or if you have to have your back to a wall? Or when you're just simply standing in line to buy something and you're constantly thinking about that person that's behind you, wondering whether he or she is someone that you should be wary of? No, none of that's fine. But you continue to lie to yourself, and it's that lying. Because we all know integrity first is what we're supposed to live by. And my kids' whole life, I've taught them, no one likes a liar, but you're spending every day lying to yourself. And you remember, live by the code, tip of the spear, core values, but how can you have integrity first when every day is a lie, when someone simply asks, how are you doing? Are you okay? Or how can you have excellence in all you do when you can't even focus where you're at? Or how can you have service for self when you can't even be 100% you? So you try to hide it, and that hiding is difficult because your family sees it, your coworkers see it, you see it when you look in the mirror, and you know you need to get help, but can you really get help? You're going to be seen as weak if you go to get the help. I mean, you see yourself as weak. You see yourself unworthy to wear the uniform. How can someone who can't even sleep at night for the nightmares try to lead other people during the day? How can someone who can't even focus on the job that they're doing supposed to be in charge of what's going on? And you hear it. The resources are there. The resources are there. Just talk about it. Talking, it sounds so easy. But every time you talk, it's like your throat fills with concrete. Your brain's on fire. Your stomach is just sick. So you keep convincing yourself that you can push forward, that you can go on, that you can put these things in a box, that you can get by. And it works for a while. And then one day you're at work, and it's like everything just comes to a crescendo, and the whole entire world just goes white. And there's no sound, just utter whiteness. And you know you're still alive, but there's nothing there. And then you finally come out of it. You have no idea how long that it went on, but you know that you can't keep lying, you can't keep hiding, you got to go seek that help. So you go and get that help. You go to a few sessions with mental health. They teach you some techniques, and you walk away. But are you really better? No, I wasn't really better. I patched that tire, and I enabled myself to move forward like an NCO is supposed to do. But the changes that I needed hadn't happened. I just went back to convincing myself that I could keep doing it. And then it starts coming back again. The overwhelming starts to come back, and you're back to where you can't sleep. When you do sleep, it's nightmares. You can't focus again. You can't relate to the people around you. You know they care, but you just won't give them that chance to care. And you go back to hearing about those resources. You go to the commander's call. You see the signs, and you keep telling yourself, I can do it without them. I can do it without them. And then finally you realize, you can't do it anymore. The patch isn't working. So, thankfully for me, about 6 months ago, I was offered a chance to go to the first Barksdale PTSD working group. And thank the Lord above, I took advantage of that opportunity. I went to that, and Captain Patience challenged me to stop pretending, to stop lying, to stop hiding, to admit I couldn't do it by myself. And if I sat here and told you I wasn't scared when I went in there, that would be a lie. Here I was working in the med group, and I'm going into mental health with other people who work in the med group, and I'm just down the hallway from them. Some of these people I knew on the outside, and I wanted to believe that the Sergeant Brown that I tried to put out there was a Sergeant Brown that they saw. But when I walked in that door the first day, it was silent, so silent. No one wanted to talk. You've got a group of people there who have been building those walls, putting up those fences. And so Captain Patience had to push and prod just to try to get us to start doing it. And then one day I got to the point I could kind of let that wall come down, and I was able to share that I'd been ashamed, that I wasn't a soldier, I wasn't a Marine, Special Forces. I hadn't seen or done the things that some people did, and that I didn't deserve to get the treatment that these people did. But a Marine First Sergeant stood up, he walked across that carpet and gave me a hug. And it was like a weight. I did deserve it. We all deserve it. We all deserve that help. And the session started to get better. Where it used to be silence, people started to talk. Where it has been somber, started to be some shared laughter. And we started to let those walls come down, and we started trusting in each other, confiding in each other, and realizing that sometimes you're weak. And for so long, I had told myself, how can you be a role model when you're weak, when you're vulnerable? How can other people look at you? And that's what I started to realize, is sometimes when you're at your weakest, that others can see that you can be that example, that it's all right to go out and get the help that we all needed. And that's when I started to move forward. And I'm standing here today. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not easy. But I hope that me standing here is proof that you can move forward, that you can get back your life. You can start building back to be who you are, who you want to be, who the Air Force needs you to be, and who your family needs you to be. So what I want everyone to know here today is that those resources do work. You just have to reach out, extend the hand, ask for that help. There's nothing wrong with it. There's points that we all find ourselves at, regardless of the situation, that we're not going to be strong enough to do it by ourselves. And if there's anyone here who has these problems, or if you know someone who has that problem, you can take it back. I'm not going to lie to you, it's not going to be easy to make that first step to go into there. But if someone needs that help, you're not going to have to go alone. You can call me, you can email me. I'll walk through the door. I'll go through the window. I'll go to the first session. I won't let you do it alone. I won't force you to do it alone. I want you to stop suffering, stop living in silence, and realize that you deserve that help. So please, I just please want you to take away from today that you deserve that help. And I will be there to give you that help if you want to get it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Brown.